So I'm at the point where I want to start reassembling the keyboard. I've attached a few key switches on it, and that'll allow me to lay the board on and begin soldering, and then I can put the remaining key switches in from the front. One of the questions I've got and how this all works is the space bar. So the space bar goes in this way. That's what I thought. So this bar needs to be forward. I wasn't sure if the bar went behind or forward, and it goes forward. I'll have to keep that in mind. Actually, I can put a key switch in for the space bar now. So I tested all the key switches. I actually threw together a little test rig here. But they could just take each switch, put it down on the copper and click it just to make it quick. Went through each key switch. Everybody looked okay. So really, I think the next step is to begin to put everything back together. So not all of the positions get key switches. So really, I think it's just going to become get a few of these soldered in. I'm just going to solder one pin on the four corners, and then I'm going to reflow and push the switch up flush against the PCB just to make sure everything's flush and even. I didn't think that one was down flush, and it wasn't. Let's look flush. I'll hit one here in the middle. Felt that switch move up flush. It's not really critical, I guess, these be perfectly flush. The mechanical strength of the keyboard is in the metal frame here, and the switch is snapping into it. The PC board just really floats on the back. So really, it kind of just now becomes a matter of, why does something not look right here? No, that's correct. I'm just figuring out who gets switches and who doesn't. So I know this entire top row doesn't. I put little X's on all the ones there that don't get a switch. That position there doesn't. There's no switch here. Position is that. I think that's where the return key ends up. So there's little dimples on the switch bodies. They can only go in one direction. And the little dimples go into the small holes on the metal frame here to keep everything aligned. So it's really just a matter of getting the pins through the PCB and clipping them down into place. Yep. There's a switch there. I believe this entire row comes switches, do I have a... Looking off a couple different photos here, looking at things. So we've got backspace, clear, these two. All down there, yep. Say, clean the metal bracket, clean the PCB. All the keycaps have been washed. There were, turns out, 3 switches that were unique. One of them is the alpha lock here. Lock convert, this would be shift. I believe that's alpha lock right there, and then tab, and then escape tab. So I do believe this is alpha lock right here, and it gets the black switch that locks on off. And the control key is next to it. And that has tab up here. So there was 2 others that didn't have orange bottoms on them. Mechanically, they seem identical. They just don't have the orange bottom. And electrically, they seem the same. So I'm not sure what's unique about these. They just act like normal key switches. So I was really kind of confused what the difference with those was. Where they might end up. Get this back on continuity mode. Just a regular switch. It's not like they're normally closed. I just don't know. I don't know why those are different. Doesn't want to go in well. Not sure what it hung up on. It's another one that hung up part way in. Okay, why are you so unhappy? Let's get it back up out of there. And just try it elsewhere. Hold the PCB look flush and open. See, I know there's one hole there doesn't have one. Oh, what was that little flying thing? A little moth just attacked me. Oops. Rotate it the right direction or it will not go in. try you elsewhere. Not sure. That's kind of weird that that one is, ouch. That hole's giving me trouble is the, well, the holes in the PCB are clear. Excuse me. You know, pretty unexciting. Now can I actually get one to go down in there? No, why? Is that hole weird? Holes are plenty clear. Here it went. Well, for whatever reason, it was just a little stiff. Oops. Keypad. Can't help but think there's something special about these, but I just don't know what it would be. They just don't have yellow bottoms. Height-wise, they're the same. Just don't get it. Well, I will put them both down here so I know where they're at. Hope this isn't going to be a problem. Not sure why that was being stubborn. before I commit this all to solder, I'm actually going to put the keycaps on. Hopefully I can get this to snap together so that the space bar will work again. It's awfully tight in there. There's one side, and there's the other side. So we have a working space bar. Perfect. The photos here as reference. You can see how dirty the keys were. Don't want any of these to go flying off on the floor. So the return key, I think, is actually right there. So we do know escape is up in this corner. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 0. Line feed is nestled in right here, I believe. So we have clear space, return. You know, these keycaps cleaned up okay. Looking at the white inside versus the white of the letters have faded, as all this older plastic does. There's 2 shift keys. I think they are honestly identical to each other. Tab. Right here. Block convert is down here in the corner. Break is here. Control there. Delete. The angle of the key seems really weird. It's not like the switches are directional. They are square in either direction. That same amount of slope either way. So cursor keys, cursor key, home is here. I can see in the photo here that, you know, I didn't realize that these keys were at a different angle. Function, I don't, down here by the space bar. Clear space. Another cursor. That's got to be the 4th cursor key I'm missing. Shift. Tab QWERTY. That should be right there below the 7, and it is. Alpha lock. I believe that's going to be J right there. One's still a little wet inside. Backspace, corner up here. Item should be in the middle. Here next to backspace. Got him in the wrong place. Shift and then question mark, and then greater than. There's 9. Eight. 1. 6. I know it's so exciting watching me put keycaps back on. Open and close squirrely braces. No clue. Colon and okay, the braces are here. Which way is the key? Key is sculpted to go the way I had it first time around. Is that 6 or 9? That is 9. Nope, that is 6. Got him upside down. Come on. I didn't really put you on. Well, keep managing to get them upside down. tab, 4 corner down here. Who ever heard of a back tab? Plus and equals. This is going to be 0. Nope, upside down. Most likely the period down on the numeric keypad. That has to be the 9. Next to the line feed. Look at it and I swear I have it right, and I go to put it on and it is upside down. So there is a, how am I missing one? Oh, I is going to be right here. Cursor keys go on that bottom row once I figure them out. Period. Which puts the minus sign there. And to figure these out, they all seem identical, which is kind of weird. See if I can get a shot of what order they were in. It isn't covered in glare. Oh, wow. So it was down, up, I think they are all identical. Well, there it is. We have all of the keys back on. Still not a great feeling keyboard. Although it certainly looks much better than it did. And now it really is just going to be a job of just soldering everybody back and getting it back in the case, and hopefully it is good to go. Let's just spend a few minutes with the soldering stuff, and actually I don't know why that didn't sit down better. I don't think these need the huge amounts of solder they had before. definitely very well soldered before. Actually, I wanted to be soldering these one pin at a time and then come back and hit the other pin to give it time to cool off internally. I didn't do that. That one, but I'll hit it again. It was kind of haphazard, and round and round in weird ways. I think I got out of order earlier or something. That I guess I need to try not to be fancy and just walk through them in order. And hopefully I haven't completely destroyed this. Click on it. Why? What the heck there? Can I not get the solder to melt sometimes? Lousy looking solder joint there. Well, it would have helped if I'd have been wearing the right glasses. Actually, I was wearing the right glasses. What the heck? No, I'm not. Where's my... Oh, yeah, I already see a solder joint I missed. I see a couple really... Yeah, I was wearing the wrong glasses for that. Part of why I struggled so much. Completely missed that pin right there. You could have a little more solder. Looks like I missed that one perhaps. Oh shoot, I wish I'd had the right glasses on the first time around. I hate that I'm stressing these again. Most of these are probably okay, but there's a pin there that looks like it was missed, and maybe there, or just not nearly enough solder. Certainly not the prettiest solder job I've ever done. And of course, these fill out just absolutely fine when I come back second time around. I guess I'm going to end up just retouching them all. And hope it's just not been too much for the switches. And really the PC board basically floats back here on these pins. It's not mechanical in the assembly. Oh, crud. Touched up and touched up and touched up here. I'm not happy. I'm ultimately going to resolder every joint here, I guess. Yeah, that's got to be good enough. I could keep going at it all day until all it is solder. I guess at this point it's really get it back in the keyboard or the terminal Hope I haven't completely trashed it. So apologies for the handheld video here. Keyboard unit's been put back together. It's been tweaked with a little bit. There was all kinds of confusion with the keyboard not working at all, and it turns out the original ribbon cable, I had a really hard time getting it off, really hard time. It was very frozen on, and it turned out some places cable's damaged, and I finally just found another cable in my components, and I really can't get this open with one hand, in my just box of cables, and found that, and that seemed to fix it. So I powered it up long enough to see that there was active keys. I haven't done an in-depth test, so let's go ahead and power up here. Give it a minute to wake up, and hopefully all the keys work. Should get a cursor here in a few seconds. There it comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Minus equals in backspace. That row looks good. QWERTY bracket line feed enter clear A control. Let's see. So with control G should ring the bell. It does. So the control key works. Alpha lock, shift A, the other shift L, and L. So both shift keys work. A, S, D, G. There's the G, H, J, K, L. Well, that looks good. Back tab and tabs, I remember didn't do anything before. Z, actually let's get down to a fresh line. Line feed, return. Z, X, C, V, B, N, M, comma, period, slash. Erase, delete does nothing. Cursor keys move things around. I'm at keypad. Sorry, the camera keeps drifting. As far as I can tell, all the keys are active. Compared to what we had before, it is much cleaner. And of course we completely stripped the keyboard down, all the way down to cleaning the metal backing plate that holds everything in place. The only oddball thing, and I guess this was probably true all along, is this 9 key sits funny. It's not quite in alignment with the other keys. And at first I thought it was the key switch mechanism itself. I've swapped it with another one. It's not. It follows the keycap wherever I put the keycaps. The keycap itself is a little bit odd. I thought maybe something was jammed up inside, couldn't find anything. This may have been like this all along and I just hadn't noticed. But no, we've got a clean enough terminal here. I feel good about using it. I did some minor cleaning inside. It's not perfect, but most of the dust and the nastiness is out. I don't know, pretty happy. It's currently set 9600 baud. I've got a loop back connector in. 8 bits, no parity, so pretty typical on 9600 8N. Nice to kind of have it working.